guys, how we doing? It's your boy Flicks back with another live stream. So, what do we all make of yesterday's performance, getting a point at Anfield? How many of you see that coming? I certainly didn't see that one coming. You've only had to look at the stats. Last 14 visits at Anfield have all been pretty much losses, apart from one, where I think we drew 1-1 a couple of seasons ago, but what were your thoughts on that, guys? I will get onto the comments shortly, but obviously, lineups. The lineups was very, very weak. I predicted during the week 5-1 Liverpool. I'm thinking to myself, this could be an absolute demolition. 4-0 before half time, but look, taking 1-0 in at half time, I'd take that all day long, all day long. But yeah, wasn't the best performance, but going on past, previous performances, I would take yesterday, especially the second half. The second half was more very, very end to end. Liverpool had their chances. They definitely had their chances. They missed some sitters, but then so did we. Richarlison could have got a couple of goals yesterday. And saying that, they were there for the taking, I thought. Again, it's down to the bare bones, as we all know. Down to the bare bones, and you've got players like Mathis Tell. The amount of times he had the ball yesterday, running down the wing, and it's just like get so far, and then you can't do nothing. Doesn't take players on, and it's just same old, same old, same old. Playing players out of position. Like who did we have? We had Sousa, didn't we? Sousa out of position. Solanke, I actually forgot Solanke was even on a pitch yesterday. Didn't really see him. Didn't really see a lot of Solanke. For me, my man in the match was Kevin Danzo, an absolute brick wall. He's your old school centre back, and he's just nothing. There's nothing really fancy about him. Nothing fancy about him, but he's your old school centre back. No nonsense defending. Just simply gets the job done. So big up Kevin Danzo. The free kick, Liverpool's free kick. Now, was it just me, or was Vicario not in his right position when lining up for that free kick? There wasn't a lot of power behind that free kick, was there? It's like Szoboszlai just pretty much passed the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, I don't want to get too much on the Vicario talk, because if you know, I've had enough of Vicario. Don't know about you, but yeah, But at the same time, in some ways, you got to take your hat off to the team, because to get a point at Anfield, like we all said, it's not many of us see that one coming. Not many of us see it coming. Sousa had a good chance, didn't he? Sousa had a very, very good chance. Again, early on. But other than that, I know. Let me just check out the stats. Where's the stats? So we had 13 shots all round, 7 on target. Liverpool had 4 shots on target. When you compare that to previous games, we'd be lucky to have 2 shots on target. So to have 7 in our current form, our current situation at Anfield, know what I mean? It's typical Spurs, isn't it? Typical Spurs. But that was a big point to clinch yesterday, with Forest getting a point as well as West Ham picking up a point again during the weekend. So we're only a point clear of them two, and with Forest up next on Sunday, that is the must win. That is the must 3 points. Some might say whoever wins that game stays up, but there's still a long way to go after that. There's still another 7 games to go. So, I'd like to think the boys can push on. boys can push on now and seriously take Nottingham Forest on. You know, we're at home, but then our home form's poor as well as our away form. So it doesn't really matter if we're home or away. But look, I know we've got the Champions League as well Wednesday night. Now, I was on Football Heritage TV last night and I said then, you know, look, I know we've got the Champions League second leg coming up. But right now, in our current situation we are in, we should just be fully focused on the league. We're fighting a relegation battle. Forget about the Champions League. Focus on the league because we need to stay in the league. We can't get relegated. We cannot get relegated from the league. I'll start jumping on the comments in a minute, guys. But yeah, we we just have to fully focus on the league. So it's going to be interesting to see what the selection will be Wednesday night against Atletico Madrid, because from my understanding we're going to have Romero back, Mickey van der Ven, Paulinho, Basuma as well, I'm hearing, and possibly a Doogie. That's near Doogie. I'm going to put a question mark there with a Doogie, but yeah, we're going to have quite a few players back. So it's going to be interesting to see what lineup he will put out for Wednesday night in the second leg. But like I keep saying, the most important one is Sunday. We have to get all 3 points on Sunday. We have to. We have to. You know. So it's I'm gonna start jumping in the comments now. So yeah, guys, smash the likes, get subbing if you're new to the channel. Appreciate it. What we got here? Big up, Ghosted London. Big up Flicks. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Get smash the likes, guys. Appreciate it. Afternoon. How we all doing? How we all doing, guys? How we all doing? I see we're getting silly comments now. I'm not even gonna bother reading those out. What else we got here? What else we got? Just coming over to support a fellow creator. Oh, big up. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Please smash the likes, guys. Please smash the likes. Smash the likes. You know, when going back to yesterday's game at Anfield, you know, when you think back to just bear with me, guys. I'm just getting the lineup again. And when you think back to the squad that we had, that we took to Anfield yesterday to get a point, you know, like I said, I was expecting a demolition, and I'm sure you felt the same as well. You know, there's you must just write the game off going on past results, because before yesterday, what was saying that our last win in the league was what, the 28th of December, and that was against Palace. Now we're pretty much coming into April, so to get a point at Anfield is yeah, in some ways I'll accept it. But at the same time, we were still poor, and at the same time, again, you have to thank Liverpool for being shite, because they were so off, so their form's dipped massively anyway compared to last season anyway, you know. But like I said, they missed some sitters, didn't they? They missed some sitters, and at the same time they rested. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to get their lineup out. So obviously, where we got Salah was on the bench, wasn't he? And Ekatike, he didn't even start. I was expecting them boys to start, and they didn't. So it was a bit of a blessing to see them on the bench. But their wonder kid, Rio, what a player he is! What a player Liverpool's Rio is. To think he's what, only 17, maybe 16 at a push, but what a phenomenal player he is. And when you look at him compared to who we've got, Mathis Tel, it's like, you know what I mean? It's outrageous. Outrageous. But yeah, going on to us again, Solanke, non-existent yesterday. I think I only spotted Solanke once. Mental. Absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. But like I said, man of the match for me was Kevin Danzo. Solid. Absolutely solid. And Richarlison doing what Richarlison does best, and that's turning up for the big games. To get the only one goal is, yeah, it was very unlucky. Very, very unlucky. Very, very unlucky. But there, you got to big up the kids as well, Alassi and Who was the other one to come on? Rosewell would come on, because other than that, we had no one. I know, obviously, Xavi Simons come on, didn't he? Who I thought should have started. I thought Xavi Simons should have started. Personally, you know. But hey, Igor Tudor knows best, doesn't he? Apparently, Igor Tudor does Igor Tudor things, and it's yeah. But I'll get onto that in a minute. But other than that, I had Colin Moani as well. But other than that, it's just full of kids playing with kids. No leaders, no leaders on the pitch. But hey, here we are. But yeah, I'm just thankful. Yeah, we got a point, and in some ways, people are saying we can really kick on now. We can really kick on, mainly onto Sunday. Bear with me, guys. I'm just getting the Forest. Oh, because I know they drew yesterday, didn't they? They drew 0-0. Now, we were lucky because I know I was keeping one eye on that Forest game. I know they had a goal disallowed. And obviously, when I was seeing that goal going, I think, here we go. They're going to get all 3 points because they were front runners to get all 3 points yesterday, weren't they? From my understanding. So yeah, for them to drop points yesterday against Fulham, again, that was a blessing. But yeah, I've said before, look, Nottingham Forest, their squad, especially in the midfield, is far better than Spurs. Far better than Spurs. When you've got players like Elliot Anderson, Gibbs White, you might as well throw in Hudson-Odoi in that mix. Compared to what we've got right now, far better. Far better. But I know, look, when you look at form wise where we all are in the table, yeah, slightly different. But when you see that midfield, it's not good, is it? It's not good. It's not good. But it's gonna be, how can I put it? It's gonna be a 50-50 game, I think. 50-50 game. And in some ways, whoever gets the 3 points on Sunday, not necessarily stays up, because there is still that's 7 games to go. So still a long way to go. Hell of a long way. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on, obviously, yesterday. Who was your man of the match? Like I said, I'll start with Kevin Danzo. He's your old school, solid, no nonsense centre back. Just gets the job done. There's nothing pretty about him, is there? And obviously, I want to get onto Igor Tudor. Now, Igor Tudor, look, it's very mixed feelings when it comes to Spurs fans. He should stay. He should go. Give him time till Wednesday night. Give him time till Sunday. Give him time until Sunday against Forest. You know, but when you, I know injuries haven't helped the situation. I know we're down. I know we're down to the bare bones, but it just annoys me when he's playing so many players out of position. You know, going on to, I know I'm slightly going off topic now, but when you go back to the Champions League first leg and he's subbed off Kingsley, you know, no acknowledgement. Man management is very poor. Very poor. Very poor. You know, and again, like I've said before, I know I'm repeating myself, you know, when it comes to doing these, but his win ratio, surely the hierarchy would have noticed his win ratio and gone 38%. Not too sure about that, you know, but it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see what lineup he puts out Wednesday night going on to Sunday, where Sunday is pretty much our cup final. It's a cup final, and saying that every game from now on is a cup final, because they just have to, you know, what we see yesterday is what we need to be seeing until the end of the season to keep us in the league. You know, there was I see a lot of fight yesterday, a lot of passion, and that is something we haven't seen for such a long time. Such a long time. Yes, guys, keep the comments coming in. I'll get on to you in a minute. I'll get on to you in a minute. Actually, no, let me do it now. Let me do it now. Um, the whole team did well. Yeah, I like Danzo, great. Richie, Tell. No, no, no. See, Mathis Tell. I've seen enough of him. Like I said last night on Football Hedge TV. I said obviously when we got Mathis Tell, I said I'm not gonna lie. Didn't know a great deal about Mathis Tell. Didn't know anything about him coming from Bayern Munich on loan, obviously. So I sat on the fence with him. But I feel right now I've seen enough of Mathis Tell. Seen enough of him to say, nah, simply not good enough. Can't take players on. Like I said, he goes so far up the pitch, and that's it. There's no end product. Nothing. There's nothing. You know. When was put it this way? When was his last goal? When was his last goal for Spurs? See, I don't even remember. Really don't remember. Um, so if anything, I've seen enough of Mathis Tell. Richarlison. Richarlison seems to just turn up for the big games. Turn up when he wants. Very inconsistent, isn't he, Richarlison? But you got to big up Richie yesterday for the goal, the equaliser. Should have scored his first goal yesterday, way before when he obviously did eventually score, because he did miss some sitters. Um, Archie Gray, Archie Gray. That kind of put it. I'm very half and half with Archie Gray. There's obviously a lot of potential there. I know at the same time it doesn't help when he's, especially going back to last season under Ange Postecoglou. He was played centre back. He was playing left back, right wing. Sorry, right wing, left wing in his natural position, and then thrown out of his natural position to play centre back again. It's fucking mishmashing it all over the gaff. So I know that don't help. And he's still young. He's what, only about 19, maybe 20 at a push. So he's still fairly young. So you got to give him some slack. But I just also feel like he does get bossed about quite a lot, doesn't he? Too skinny, too skinny, and that's something that Salah did say yes last night. And it's true. It's facts. It's facts. When you see a central midfielder, they've got a bit of something. They've got something about themselves, haven't they? They're not all fucking skinny, are they? Think of the last um, solid centre midfielder we had, who literally used to boss the midfielder, and that was Moussa Dembele. Never been replaced ever since, has he? Never been replaced. And when you've got someone like Archie Gray, needs to go to the gym, just needs to go to the gym, or saying that, maybe put him out on loan, maybe stick him on loan for a season. I don't know, but let me, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on Archie Gray? Because I also said last night on Savage channel, when you think back to when we got Harry Winks and Ollie Skip in their very early days from coming from the youth into the first team working under Pochettino, they were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So maybe, I know rumour has it that Poch could, with the big question mark obviously, could come back after the World Cup. Maybe he could work wonders under Archie Gray, because like I said, he's been there and done it with the younger kids coming through. He had something, didn't he, with about working with the younger squad, and really like improving them. So maybe time will tell. I know, time will tell. Obviously, um, time will tell on that one. But yeah, that's my personal feeling right now with Archie Gray. He just needs to bulk up a little bit. You know what I mean? And saying that, maybe go on loan. But like I said, time will tell, innit? Time will tell. Um, Kevin Danzo. I rate Danzo. I rate Danzo. Every time he's put on a Spurs shirt, he's never put a foot wrong, has he? Never put a foot wrong. Um, And saying that, going on to Wednesday night onwards, when you had Danzo and Dragazin centre back yesterday, you know, they did partner up very well, very, very well. And to think we've got Romero and Van der Ven back. Now this is where I mean with, as he going to switch things up Wednesday night going onwards? Is he going to drop Danzo and Dragazin and literally throw Romero, Mickey Van der Ven back in the starting 11? Or is he going to do a little... it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? It's going to be interesting to see how he does set this one up, especially onto Sunday. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to go with his natural back three, because Igor Tudor, for some reason, loves a back three. I really don't know why. For me, I'll just go with the simple 4-4-2, really. I really would. But it will be interesting to see if he will drop those two and put Mickey Van der Ven and Romero straight in again. Let's see, innit? Let's see, guys. Let's see. Mate, Tell is not a winger, question mark. He wasn't at Bayern. Has never been in the France under 21s. But he is a winger, though, isn't he? He's not a striker, though, is he? Tel's not a striker. I've never ever seen him play up front. Never seen him play up front. Obviously, when we've not had any like players like Solanke and Richarlison there, but I've never seen him play up top. Never seen him play up top. But yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong in it, you know. But it is what it is, isn't it? What else we got here? Brian Maguire. Sean Butler gave you a mention on his video clip. Oh, did he? Did he? What video was that? Can you send that to me? Can you send that to me? I'd appreciate it. Also, we got the centre backs at the club are well aware that Romero and Mickey are first choice. Well, yeah, obviously. But when you look on the form, like I said, Danzo. Every time Danzo comes in, 9 times out of 10, he never gets a foot wrong, does he? Never gets a foot wrong. So if I know it's a bit hard, because like I said earlier in my stream, and I said last night on Football Heritage TV, I said, look, with the current situation we are in right now, we have to fully focus on Sunday's game against Forest. Forget about the Champions League second leg. Forget about it. Just for the simple fact of where we are right now, fighting a relegation scrap, and we are down to the bare bones. Of course, it would have been a whole different situation, you know, if we was more comfortable in the league, then go for it in the Champions League. But right now, we can't. And again, saying that, we're you know 5-2 down already on aggregate, aren't we? So just thinking about it now, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what formation and especially the lineup that he does put out. So I can't see Igor Tudor going weak. So could it be Oporo, Romero, Danzo, and have Mickey Van der Ven out on the wing? Because I'm not the only one that said that. I'm not the only one. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, if you're asking me, I would completely forget about Wednesday night. Forget about it. Fully focused on Sunday. I really would, guys. I really would. What else we got here, guys? Jesus, what else we got here? At Bayern, he played up top for the France under-21s. He plays up top. Okay, well, yeah, for the France under-21s, yeah. Because don't Wilson Odibert. I know Wilson Odibert plays with him in the French under-21s. I know their link-up play in the under-21s is, from my understanding, phenomenal. But that's another level, isn't it? Under-21s step up, can't do it. You know, it's one of them ones, isn't it? It's one of them ones. It's that saying of, we're all down to the bare bones as it is. Throw the kids in, chuck the kids in, put Williams Barnett in, put Byfield in, blah 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 blah. You know, but right now it's kids playing with kids. There's no leadership. Like I said before, Christian Romero for me is not captain material. I might sound a little bit hypocritical because I've said before, strip the captaincy off Romero and give it to Mickey van der Ven. But just recently, for the past, two, maybe 3 months at a push, van der Ven's head's not been all there, is it? He simply wants out. And he's clearly shown that. When you look at his challenges, he timed them to a T 5-6 months ago, didn't he? Timed them to an absolute T. But just recently, goes in rash like Romero does, doesn't give a flying buck. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't even give the captaincy to him. His head's gone. Doesn't want to be there. So the leadership's obviously not there. It's all freaking mishmash. So this is what I mean. There's no leadership there. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. The two returning centre-backs would have seen yesterday's performance and hopefully adds fuel to the fire where they need to be up for the game. Well, let's hope so, innit? We can only hope. We can only hope. They've obviously, that they've seen the game and gone, okay. Yeah, we need to buck our riders up, pull our socks up, pull our fingers out our backside, and crack on. Crack on now, because before yesterday's game, it's to think our last win in the league was end of December against Palace, and that was only a 1-0 win, wasn't it? For an Archie Gray winner. So, I'd like to think, they've realised the situation they're in, gone, okay, yeah, we need to like buck our ideas up now. Buck our ideas up because, yeah, we're in a relegation scrap. But then they've obviously had that mentality of, obviously they don't care anyway. They want out. A lot of players want out. We know that. A lot of players will leave at the end of the season. Hence the wage cuts, which will be interesting, very interesting. We know full well Romero's going to go, even though he's been linked with Atletico for the past season, maybe 2 seasons. Van der Ven, rumour has it that he wants out, and you've only got to look at his past performances, his attitude on the pitch. It's been awful. It's been absolutely awful. So he clearly wants out. And when you think of that, like, okay, so who could be our new centre back pairing next season? Now, for me, I'd fancy maybe a Kevin Danzo alongside is it Vojkovic, who's on loan at Hamburg. But obviously, rumour has it that Vojkovic doesn't want to come back to Spurs, which is it's a shame because he's been absolutely phenomenal, hasn't he, for Hamburg this season? Absolutely phenomenal. No nonsense centre back, gets your goals. You know what I mean? He gets stuck in. So that's looking more likely that he won't come back to Spurs. So who else is out there? Who else is out there? Some people might say, because it was actually mentioned last night, Brighton's, is it Van Heckel? Van Heckel, maybe him. Maybe he could partner up with Danzo. Because you know when I look at Draguzin, he's he's not the player that I thought he was going to be when we first got him. In my opinion, he was bit of a letdown. Bit of a letdown, you know. There was obviously when he was obviously linked with us, there was a lot of praise for him, but he's not turned out to be the centre back that I thought he would be. That's just my opinion, anyway. That's just my opinion, guys. So it will be interesting to see, obviously, who sticks around, and you know, but then again, all depending if we do stay in the league next season. It's going to be interesting times, guys. Interesting times and nervy times, that's for sure. You know what I mean? What else we got here? What else? Bear with me, guys. We should have bought players in January when we didn't. Exactly. Look, you've only got to go back to the summer. Look, we made Kevin Danzo permanent, didn't we? We got Shalplini on loan, who I hope that we do sign on a permanent. You know, but again, Palini has been absolutely phenomenal. I know we'd signed Mathis Tell on a permanent. Why did Spurs even bother doing that? Wilson Odobert again. Why did they even bother doing that? Kota Taiki. What was the point of even signing him? Straight out on loan again. See, that's another thing. You know that gets me. Spurs. They get all these okayish players that are possibly for the future. But what about now? We need players now. You know, even when we have got our fully fit squad, the squad depth is not all that, is it? When you compare it to the likes of City, your Arsenal, etc., you know, you've only got to look at their benches, and they're all guaranteed starters, aren't they? Guaranteed starters because they've got so much potential. It's just potential, or you know, well, not so much potential. I should have said quality. That's what I should have said. It's just quality all over, and we haven't got that, have we? We have not got that. I haven't got that, guys. I haven't got that. And this is where the board, you know, they do my freaking head in. You know, I've been calling out for Enoch to set up a move on for such a long time. Such a long time. And then you got the board as well. That's another topic as well. You got the board who again simply have no idea what to do. What's the next move going to be? How are we going to deal with this situation? No clue whatsoever. No clue whatsoever. Right, a few more minutes, guys, and I will have to shoot. But yes, please smash the likes. Please smash the likes. Get subbing to the channel if you've not done that yet. So please do that. Please do that. I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it massively if you could do that. What other comments we've got here before I do shoot, guys? Drop Van der Ven, he is part of the problem. Romero is a liability. Well, yeah, Romero, because he's had far too many reds, hasn't he? In his time at Spurs. Van der Ven, Yeah, like I said earlier, his form has been off for the past 2, maybe 3 months. His head ain't all there, is it? He clearly wants out. Unless maybe he's just simply had enough because of the way things Thomas Frank ran it. You know, getting rid of, look at this scenario, getting rid of Brennan Johnson, our top scorer last season, wasn't replaced and still hasn't been replaced. Instead, we get Conor Gallagher, yeah, good signing. Souza, there's a lot of potential there. And then we get some young kid from Hearts on deadline day. Yet Frank didn't want Brennan Johnson in his plans, even though he was our top scorer last season. And now I know Brennan Johnson is obviously not the best, but right now, when we're crying out for goals, we're crying out for that guy in a Spurs shirt that can make a run, that 9 times out of 10 guarantees you a little tap in, a goal here and there in Brennan Johnson, and didn't want him. So like I said, hasn't been replaced to this day. You know, and it does baffle me. You know, when he did go, I'm thinking, okay, Brennan Johnson's going to Palace. Maybe we're going to sign someone that's got a little bit more quality about themselves. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, guys. And this is what I mean with the hierarchy, the board, the ownership. They haven't got a clue. And this is where I talk about neglect. To think where we were back in the day, because you know, such a long time ago now. Back in the day, we were a phenomenal football team, wasn't we? Absolutely phenomenal. But since then, year after year after year, up until now, it's been neglect. We have simply been neglected. And, you know, hierarchy altogether, ambition, simply no ambition. Don't give a flying about the likes of me and you. Even though they've got the cheek to say, oh yeah, but we should be fighting top 4 Premier League titles, we should be in the Champions League year after year. But we haven't got the quality for that. We haven't got the quality to compete. This is where, you know, certain Spurs fans jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, but we spent such and such amount last season, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, yeah, they did. Fair enough, they did. But it's the way they go about doing it. They buy it, up and coming players. Yeah, he might be all right. We'll get him now. 2 seasons' time, he's going to be phenomenal. So we can only pay this certain amount. So we get this one in you know what I mean? Instead of just saying like, okay, instead of buying 5 okayish players, sign that one quality player that's been there before, done it, got the t-shirt, and guarantees you quality. That's something Spurs very rarely do. And saying that they've not done it for such a long time. When you think of players that we've actually bought in, you know, I was going to say Gareth Bale, but obviously when Gareth Bale come from Southampton, it built himself up over the time, didn't he? But when you think of players like Van der Vaart, come straight in, absolutely quality, absolutely quality. And this is what I mean. It really does annoy me. Really does annoy me when also people say Spurs are a big club. Yeah, when you look at the history, we are. But other than that, we are nowhere near where we should be. Nowhere near where we should be. It's just neglect and simply no. You know what I mean. But here we are. Look, I'm going to have to shoot in a couple of minutes, so I want to crack on with the last couple of comments, guys, before I do go. You would think the World Cup would at least be a selfish motivation for the players. I sort of get what you mean there. When you think of someone like Richarlison, does he want to get in the Brazilian squad for the World Cup? See, I get your point there. I get your point there. Another comment here: Odebert is an out-and-out winger. Yeah, I know. Wilson Odebert's an out-and-out winger, but again, there's not a lot about him, is there? Why did Spurs even bother going for him? Why? This is what I mean. They get okayish, all right players, and it's just so annoying. It really is. It really is. One point on a Sunday was unbelievable. Oh, sorry, invaluable. That team play. Yeah, exactly. Look, going on to Sunday. You know, it's a cup final, and saying that every game from now on until the last game of the season, which is obviously against Everton at the Lane, it has to be treated like a cup final. We have to get as many points as we can, because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. You know, Forest are going to turn up at the Lane on Sunday, and they're going to give absolutely everything, aren't they? Absolutely everything. And we still got Chelsea to play. Wolves have turned the corner, haven't they? I know they're still sitting bottom of the league, but they've got something about themselves, haven't they? They're showing a bit of fight. Got Brighton to play as well, so we are playing teams that are not going to be easy. I know we've not made it easy for ourselves with our form, but hopefully, going back onto yesterday, getting that point at Anfield could be the start of, fingers crossed very tightly, by the way, that we do kick on and get ourselves at this very sticky situation. Um, Maybe Igor Tudor has got through to the team. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But at the same time, Igor Tudor should have never ever got the interim job in the first place. Surely they would have seen his win ratio and gone, oh, 38%. I don't know about that. His last job was at Juve. His last 5 games all turned out to be draws, didn't they? Didn't get many wins, did he? Here we are. Here we are, guys. You know, against some are saying get Ryan Mason in. If you're asking me, Redknapp till the end of the season. But here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are, guys. Right, that is enough for me because I do have to shoot, unfortunately. But yes, smash the likes, get subscribing to the channel if you've never subbed. But please smash the likes. The more likes, the better. The more likes, the better. So I'll catch you lot on the next video in a bit, guys. Take it easy.